There we go. All right. Here we are again. Still trying to improve my bot for the Coding Game Fall Challenge, and things aren't going well. I'm trying to improve the performance of the code by basically taking my the game information that I'm representing right now pretty much in objects. I'm trying to use bit arrays instead, just plain JavaScript numbers and using the bits to store the information. And I did that with part of my data, specifically the deltas, like the 4 tiers of ingredients, wherever we have that information. Now I'm just using one number, and all that information is stored in there. And that has improved a little bit the amount of simulations I was able to run. So I was hopeful. So I decided to do the same thing with basically actions, which I had modeled as a class before. So by action, everything is an action, right? Like casting a spell. So the information for that cast of a spell, that's an action. Um, not brewing, learning would be another action. Brewing would be another action, and they're pretty much, they all contain the same information, right? Um, so I decided to switch that into, instead of using a class, I wanted to use a bit array, a number, but I needed, I think, close to 50 bits for that. And JavaScript numbers are only, well, they're technically 64-bit floats, but if you want to do bitwise operations on them, you can't do it for more than 32 bits. So that was a problem. Then I thought, hey, JavaScript now has big int, right, which is basically an integer of infinite size. But I was going to use it for just 50 bits. So I thought that would be a good idea, right? Most languages have 64-bit integers, and I figured I would use it the same way. Instead of having to split my data into several 32-bit integers and store that inside an array. But that was a huge mistake, and I spent a lot of time on that yesterday. Converted everything to big int and ran the code, and it was slow, so much slower, like several orders of magnitude slower. And I should have researched it before. Like, I just thought, that whoever the guys at Google that are implementing V8 or whatever, that for sure they would treat big ints that are 64 bits or smaller like 64-bit integers, like in their C++ code or whatever, right? But it turns out they just put everything on the heap, and your big int in JavaScript is actually stored like an object, and so the performance is crap. It's a relatively new thing, and they're kind of waiting to see how people are going to use them before they even think of maybe storing like this, if it's a smaller than 64-bit or a 64-bit or smaller one, kind of store it in register instead of storing it in the heap. But for now, I have a feeling there's like no optimizations whatsoever or barely any. So it was like way, way, way slower. So I had to reverse course and go back to my idea of, I'm not going back to the class, but now I had to split all of that data into two 32-bit ints that live inside just JavaScript numbers. And I had to store that inside an array. So that's probably not going to be as performant as I would want. So that's done. I spent a bunch of time on that yesterday, but now I am chasing a bug. And that's where we're at. Let me show you what's going on. So for those of you that are new to the channel, haven't followed me at all for the contest, I'm using a Monte Carlo tree search algorithm. I'm doing this in JavaScript. I know, crazy. And as you can expect, I'm not getting very many simulations out of one turn, being limited to that 50 milliseconds. So I'm trying to change my code to make it less object oriented, more kind of, just using primitives and instead of newing up objects and stuff like that. And the thing is now, as you can see from what's being logged. All right, so as you can see here, it's pretty obvious that my bot's not doing anything. At least it's not dying, but I'm not brewing anything. Once in a while, like at the very beginning, it just casted a few spells, then boom, nothing, because it's trying to cast a spell, attempted an invalid action. Spell 79 is exhausted. This is spell 79. Oh, would you look at that? Okay. That's interesting. It's trying spell 79. Oh, it's also trying spell 78. So it basically thinks that they're both, see, choices were, like, those were valid options. And evidently they're not. And the weird thing here is that, okay, so if I just take a look at the code, um, so I have get valid actions, which is supposed to get the valid spells, and get valid spells, the logic is basically go through all the spells, check if they're castable, if they're not, return false. So I have some logging here. That's because I'm trying to figure out where, like, how do these spells that are not castable, where are they seeping in? And so I've got this here, which is basically saying if the spell ID is 78, because we know that's one that they're trying to, and castable is not 1, because it's using bits, right? So then just log this, and it's not coming up on the screen, so that led me to believe that get valid spells was doing its job okay. So I went up a level to get valid actions, and now I've got this, and I have to put this in because otherwise there's just, it floods the console and it crashes. So I just do, in the first 5 turns, if one of the spells in valid spells is number 78, ID 78, and is castable, does not have the value of 1, right? Then let me know. And as you saw, that's not the case, right? We never get that log on screen, meaning, ooh, nope, we're good. Yeah, besides, we would have gotten it at the very beginning. Okay, so meaning that, okay, so that's interesting. Wait a minute. So it's not showing those other spells as being valid options, right? Choices were. So the logic to detect that the spells aren't castable because you don't have the ingredients seems to be working. The problem I'm getting is really related to the is castable flag. The fact that they're exhausted. And I can't for the life of me. I mean, I've got tests. Look at this. Get valid brews. Apply cast action. Apply brew action. Maybe I should add some. What do I have here? Apply brew action. Get valid brews, right? Oh yeah, but I have some here, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, get valid spells, right? So I've got a test here that seems to be working just fine. And yeah, so you see here, I've got this spell that is not castable. That's the property here. And it requires -1 tier 0, 0 tier 1, -1 tier 2, -1 tier 3, which our player has, right, in this case. I run get valid spells, I look at the result, and I expect to get valid spells. Valid spells only contains spells that are valid, those are invalid. I pass both of those to, and it seems to be, working fine. So, if the problem is not here, as it doesn't seem to be, spell 78, let's see. If I were to just get rid of this for a second, find one. No, not the entire thing. Just want this. Yes. Let's compile. So technically that, then I should get some logs showing up. It's probably gonna overflow the thing. Yeah, okay. So, right. So this is working. Oh, wait. Wait. Okay, that's interesting. Ah, yeah. Yeah. What is going on? What is going on? So that means if this dot turn is bigger than 5, only shows up after turn 5. Because I didn't want to catch the first turn because that was, interestingly enough, it does, okay, yeah, it cuts off, but presumably I would get it for the next turns too if, then I time out, right? Because I'm logging too much stuff. But the thing that's interesting here is that I do have spell 78 as a valid spell. But its castable is set to 1. Right? Is that what that means? 78 and this castable is not set to 1. Huh. And this is all just the first turn. Where am I getting this on the first turn? Oh, I'm getting this on the first turn because it's in the simulation that, right, of course. I'm simulating more turns. So the problem is, so as far as we're concerned, as far as our algorithm's concerned, spell 78 is set to castable. But in reality, it isn't. So that means our problem is, let's go take a look at our bot. How are we get action? Okay, let's take a look at the node. I have a feeling this will be Apply action, display. Could it be that the apply action, I'm pretty sure I've got this under test as well. Oh, maybe not. Cast, opponent cast, yes. Apply action. Player ID. Exhaust spell. I know I'm testing that. Okay, so that would be an interesting. Okay, let's try this. Wait, how is that implemented? Takes the player's spells, finds the spell that has the matching ID. And then set castable spell to false. And I am testing that, so um, so there's no reason to think that that's a problem. But why don't we just make sure? How could I? Wow, this is a tough one. I really wish I could, just debug the code instead of having to log to the console. And the odd thing too is that I've got this little local playground, basically recreated the game engine in JavaScript and the browser. And when I try it there, I don't have the problem. So yeah. Oh, well, let's take a look at this. Pass in the state. I create the state here. New state within the client orders. Deck. Turn. That's all we need, apparently. Convert increase opponent spells. Where do I get opponent spells? Opponent spells I'm keeping here. It's a new array every time. Same with our my spells. I create those actions here. Castable. Always there. Did I screw something up here maybe? Castable, I'm parsing it to an int, yes. And if I do, no, I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah, no, that was right. I've got castable in the right spot. I am at a loss. Action type cast. Action type brew. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's correct. Okay. Getting the action type from here. The action type should be that. Yeah, I don't think that's the problem. Although, should we? Yeah, let's take a look at that. I wonder, doubt that's the problem, but I want to see. They should be ints, right? In my case. because I'm converting the strings to, I'm using an enum. All right, let's take a look at that. You know what? Let's make it into, yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yep, that's gonna be, there's only 3 days left really in the contest. Haven't implemented the Bronze League yet, the rules. It's not looking good. Okay, so yeah, that looks fine. We're getting those numbers. 0, 3, 0, 3, 1, 2, which corresponds to brew 0, 3, wait, 0, 1, 2, 3, learn. Yeah, learn, it's true, because I'm in bronze now. 3, 1, 2, right. So brew cast opponent, learn. Great. These are just for my internal use. Okay. Could I somehow be screwing up the brew? Get action, action type cast, cast, get action. No, that's fine. Pass in the state here. I really don't see where the problem is. But obviously at some point, state copy, state apply action. Then the child. So that's the only thing I can, but again, why wouldn't it work? So I've got, oh, no, I don't think that's a problem. So we're taking an action from untried actions. We're copying its state. No, we're copying the node state, right? We're applying the action to the copy of the node state. Cool. We're creating a new child node. We're passing in that state, which is a copy that has now been mutated by applying an action to it. Some other information, pass in the action just for tracking purposes, push the child, boom. Okay, so one thing we could do, so annoying, when I could just use a breakpoint. And one thing we could do is, all right, let's do this. If state dot, what are we looking for really? No, if the action. All right, so if the action, let's get ID. Hey man, thanks for the follow, Red Viper 62. Get ID of our action. So let's start with that. So if it's our action number 78, right? Which is one of the ones that I keep trying to, our bot keeps trying to convince us that it's a valid action when it isn't. So all right, if we get action 78, we would expect that once we've applied it, once we've applied it, our state dot spells, no, state dot, what do we have? State dot get valid spells, no. Come on, surely we don't have that. Get valid actions, get valid brews. Oh, I guess it's on players, right? Because it's, okay. So state players. Actually, I think I have. Yeah, let's just do that. State players. Pass in the player ID to get the right player. I've got the right player. Let's take a look at our valid spells. Now we want to see. Technically, spell number 78 should not be in there anymore. If all works properly. So let's do if yeah, we're going to store that in a variable const spells, call that, then say if spells, it should be plural, if spells right, yeah, because spells now is just using bits now, so it's no, wait, no, this should be an array of, yeah, okay. So spells that find, I guess, find a spell that has, you know what, let's use some, which returns a boolean, it's better. So spell that some, spell, so where spell, get ID, spell 78. Why? I don't know. ID. Oh, silly me. This should be spell. Right. Get the spell ID. If it's 78, then we know we've got a problem. It shouldn't be in there anymore. Right? Let's just think about this again. Got the state there. I'm applying the action. State is a copy though. Right, so that's cool. That shouldn't be there anymore. The new state, basically. So if state is there, lose your let's just error. Very useful message. We've got a problem. Don't need that, right? Do I need any? Well, let's start with that, I guess. Oy. This contest is going to be the death of me. All right. Let's see if, oh, I still got that log there, I think. That's going to be annoying. Just going to remove that. Oh, maybe I did remove it. No, I didn't. There we go. All right. Lost in there. I can't see anything because it's, no, actually, that's not it. It just never happens. Oh. What the heck is going on? I don't get it. Ugh, this is so frustrating. Um, okay, so it looks like when I'm opening a new node in my Monte Carlo tree search, I'm updating the new state properly, which how the heck are those getting in there? Oh man, if I could debug, I could just break and then go back up the stack and figure out where this is happening. Did I time out here? I did. Why did I time out? That's interesting. No particular reason that I can see. But it surely has to do with the fact that I was trying to log too much stuff to the screen. I don't know. But evidently, as we can see, we never hit our little message. Nope, we don't. Yet it's still showing those two options as valid options. Did we do something? If get ID action is 78. All right, let's just make sure that we got that part right. Yeah. Let's just comment that out for now. And straight up, let me know if at least you're finding it. Make sure that we're hitting this at some point for some conditions. Yo. It'll time out if this works properly because there's just so many simulations, hundreds of simulations, so there would be hundreds of logs, presumably. Did I build? All right. This is tedious work. Doesn't make for great TV, I guess, but that's what it is. What it is. I have to deal with this right now. All right, so yeah, Yep. And then of course timeout, or maybe not. I don't know. Oh, just lost it. It's hilarious. It didn't time out. So that tells us that we do handle cases where 78 is there, and it looks like we're dealing with it properly. So I think I can probably spells.sum spell where the ID is 78, and we never get that. So let's get rid of that, as the problem does not seem to be here. Let's go further up. So this is the log I'm getting on screen. And it's saying, right choices were. And then it's giving me as valid choices nodes that aren't. Doesn't make sense. How could it? All right, let's walk through this. This is where the algorithms happen. Okay, so first, state is here. Okay, so we create our root node, passing state, player ID, no action, and no parent, because it's our root node. Then we go into the select part of the algorithm. So select, we've got our node. If the node is terminal, node is fully expanded, node expanded, get best child looks at the score. Nothing to do with our stuff there. So I guess the creation of the only thing that makes sense to me is that is castable is not the right. I would be passing in the wrong thing to my algorithm, to my bot. I'm passing it here, state I'm creating here. The state includes the players. I've got my red player. Red player takes the spells from here. The spells, my spells. My spells is an array that is always emptied at the beginning of every turn, and we fill it up right here by creating actions. And action type, we're passing in castable here. We're getting castable here as an integer. Always 0 later 1 if this is a castable player spell. I'm just straight passing that in. What the heck? Okay, let's do this. Making sure our input's correct. If turn is greater than 1, I guess. I don't want to do this every turn. Well, yeah, it wouldn't be a problem. It's just a 1. Okay, so if turn is greater than 1, we want to take a look at our action and get the, all right, also for if turn is greater than 1 and the action ID is equal to 78, then we want to log, not log, error. We want to, what do we want? We want the castable. That's what we're interested in. Yes, so get, actually, let's get the actual thing that we parsed from our inputs instead of getting it from. All right, so actually let's check all of that straight without going through our actions. So let's do action ID, this, and also we're only interested if it's for us. How do I know if it's for us? Number of spells, unique ID. It'll be cast instead of opponent cast, right? Yeah. Okay, so if action ID is 78 and if the action type is action type opponent cast. Right, okay, no, not opponent cast, we want it for us. So let's get delete W. Dope. That was not the right way to do this. Anyways, okay, cast. So, all right. So if we're not on the first turn, if the action ID is 78, if the action type is cast, then what the heck is castable? Let's write a little. Actually, let's just wrap it inside an object like that. Yeah. Okay. Let's build this. See what. Do I still have my yo? Where did I have that now? Can't remember. Whatever. That's the thing with console debugging, and the polluting your code base with a bunch of stupid like here, number 1, number 2, number gets annoying. Okay, let's try that. Okay. Aha. So we seem to be getting the correct input, right? At that point, it's no longer castable after the first turn because I cast it in the first turn. Actually, let's confirm that. I don't know why I insisted on doing it just for the first turn. Let's do it for all of them. Select T, delete. Good. Don't hesitate, guys, if you see something you think I didn't see that doesn't make sense or whatever. Because the sooner I can find that bug, the sooner I can move on and implement interesting things that actually make a difference. All right, so, wait. Oh no, okay, we're good. So yeah, first turn, it's castable. Then I actually cast it. And second turn, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. How do I end up thinking that it's castable? Do I actually? That's the thing. I don't know that I am because everywhere I look, all right, let's check something else. Let's add, we're creating our action bit array there. So let's check that it's converting everything properly, which I'm pretty sure it is. I've got tests for that, so my castable, let's call it that, and it's just gonna take get is castable from the action. Yes. Let's see 2. Really can be frustrating when you got a bug like that and you can't pinpoint. Never mind pinpoint. I don't really even have a clear or vague idea of where the problem is. So that can really be annoying. Okay. So they should correspond. My castable and castable should always be the same. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay. All right. They're not. So the problem is right at the input. So first turn. Hey, thanks for the follow, Blizzy Blake. So the first turn, the input we're getting from the game is that it's castable, and I'm correctly storing it as castable as well. Second turn comes around, the input I'm getting from the game is that spell 78 is no longer castable. I take that 0, I shove it in my function here, convert action to bit array. So this should be 0 at this point. If I had a debugger, I could confirm it. And then, for some reason, when I try to get it out of there, well, that's not what I'm getting. I'm getting 1. And okay, so let's, how, I don't know, because I've got that function tested. Convert action to bit array. Just learning programming, about a year in a school, went back after 10 years. Started the CodinGame challenge to hopefully push myself, so it's nice to see someone else doing it live to kind of help me understand it a bit. Yeah, cool, man. Good stuff. How you doing in the contest so far? How you liking it? All right, so let's go take a look at this. Convert, no, that's not the one, is it? It is not. That is the one. All right. So I'm taking castable. Castable is a number. Castable, I am storing it in index 24. Is that correct? Castable index 24, yes. Just did the first challenge today, honestly. Passed it. Cool. Good stuff. Gotta start somewhere. You do Wood League 1, Wood League 2, Wood League 1. Then you get to bronze, and then you spend 3 days hunting bugs and trying to make your code more performant, like me. And then you run out of time, and that's what's going on. So, okay, so that looks good. I am storing it index 0, storing it in index 0, and I've got that tested out, don't I? Convert action, convert action to bit array. Should change the name of that test. I changed it now to yeah, to bit array. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. And the test passes. I've got 3 of them. where I'm passing in. Okay, so those are the inputs to my function. ID type delta price tone text castable repeatable. One. Seeing this kind of code versus what we learn in school is just way different, it seems. I don't know. I'm not used to reading code outside of school too much, except on GitHub, but I'm just trying to learn what the real world has in store. Well, that's not the real world, man. If you're looking at code from streamers on CodinGame, that is most of the time disgusting crap. I don't write that kind of code for, business code for my work. When you work with other people and you work on software that is to be read by other people and maintained, you want to make sure that you prioritize readability and maintenance and patterns that are easily understandable, and you don't go bit twiddling. You use abstractions, and all of that comes before performance usually. But in the context of this, it's different. I mean, on GitHub, yeah, sure. Yeah, but you can see some really weird stuff on GitHub too. Okay, so my test passes, but evidently we've got a problem. So let's do, what do I convert big int action to object? No, that's not the one, it's this one here, okay. All right. Let's try this for starters. Let's just add another assertion. So I expect that if I try to get okay, let's first store this in a variable. So const action, and then grab this here. Actually, I could have used a refactor for that, right? I do that. And then extract to constant and closing scope. Yes, new local, we call it action. Wish there was a way to do that with my Vim bindings. Probably is too. Just gotta figure it out. Okay, so now, we're still passing that. That's good. Now if I do get castable, action. Let's not get castable. It is castable. Is it? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's right. So I expect is castable to be castable. Should be the exact same thing, and it is. What? Oh. Why? Why? Which, I don't know why I was expecting something else. If this works here, there's no reason why this would be different. Especially since I'm testing that function too somewhere else. Is castable, right? What the heck is going on? Do I stream often? To tell you the truth, before the contest, I hadn't streamed in like almost a year, I think. Hey man, love your build process. Much easier to code from VS Code than build JS. I'm fairly new to CodinGame. Yeah. I pretty useful. Could you tell me why you are using those bit arrays? I'm not familiar with them. I got in the Silver League with the A-star algorithm, but stuck there, yeah. I'm using a Monte Carlo tree search algorithm, and it requires that you can do a lot of simulations if you want it to be any good. And my code was kind of slow because it was instantiating a lot of objects, and I'm just trying to squeeze as much as I can out of it. Using bit arrays is one way usually to speed up your code a little bit, sometimes quite a bit. Um, hmm. Yeah. So you're using A star. You're using A star on what? The entire game state, or just like basically looking at the what you can brew and using A star to search through that to see what's like what you can brew and how many turns and because that's my next thing. Like once I'm done with this, if I can't squeeze enough performance out of it to make my Monte Carlo tree search work, I'm gonna have to either start filling with the Monte Carlo tree search and add a bunch of heuristics to kind of guide it a little bit more, or just revert to something simpler like I guess A star would be an option. I was thinking just like some sort of breadth first search. Super fast, but does not give the best moves. Yeah, that's what happens, right? Are you coding in JS, JavaScript, or TypeScript, or something else, Python? What are you using? PHP. Huh, cool. Cool, cool, cool. So, all right. We've established that I am somehow not storing this value properly. How am I doing that? It's probably like some sort of weird type thing that's going on. Yeah, I've got a feeling. I've got a feeling that, let's see. Set state, set castable. What am I doing? I'm passing in a Boolean. Okay. Right. Cool. If I do that, if I do that, but that's not, is it what I'm using? When I'm, oh, that could be interesting. Convert action to bit array. Okay, I just got a number here, so. Number, take the number, castable 24, we're good. I think we're good. Anyways. Uh-huh. What if... Thanks, Umar Bahad. Umar, what? Umar Bahadur. Sorry, butchered that. Okay, so I don't see anything wrong with that, and I've got tests for it too. So could it be that my get delta function is the problem? No, not get delta. Is castable. Is castable. Castable mask. Then return at 24. I mean, I've got that on their test as well, but there could be some weird thing I'm not seeing that's giving us a false positive. 24, 24, yes. Hmm. And what's even more interesting is that I actually test that it's, see my test cases here to make sure that I'm storing the data properly. I actually put the bits, right? So there's no reason to think that I'm storing it wrong, which would mean then that my problem is getting the information out of the array. All right, here's what we do. Next step in our diagnosing. Can you make a verb out of that? I don't know. I want to see what the bits are. I'm gonna not trust my isCastable function, and let's take a look at action itself. So action is an array. Let's get the first part, which is where the information is stored. And that's just going to be a number. So I need to get the bits. So let's do toString like that. It's going to take a little bit of deciphering, but I mean, I don't see anything else we can do. And that should allow us to confirm that there's something wrong with isCastable. Or that it's fine and the problem somewhere else. Lukewarm coffee. Okay. So. This would be it right here, I'm guessing. Let's take a look at our, can I put these side by side? That's gonna be a challenge. Okay. So the first 9 bits are the ID, so crap. I could probably just actually split it like that. Yep. So, you know what? Let's just paste it in here. Would that work? I don't know. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, crap. What'd I do? Let's put it somewhere where I can actually see it. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. It's like it recognizes that it's a binary number or something. But that's not what I wanted. Okay, this is turning out to be a pain. Just want this to be text, please. Text, thank you. Just paste that in here. Good. All right. So we're dealing with 0, 0, 0, 0. Whoops. 0. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. Right. 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0. And then the rest is all ones. So that does make sense. Oh, probably because well, let's see. Let's see if this is right at least. So our ID here should be 78, right? So we've got the 8th bit is 32? No, 128? Yeah. Okay. 128 plus 64. So already something's wrong, right? If the ID is supposed to be 78. Yeah, so I think this is not something odd going on here. Let's try this. So I think I know what's going on. Don't know if that's going to make a difference at this point. We're about to find out. Aha. Okay. Yeah, that might make more sense. Okay, I'm interested to see. We should be able to see a difference right away. Yet the bits are all the same. Did that change? It did not, did it? Ha. Right. Which would make sense. What? Hmm. Convert action to bit array. All right. Might have to go one level deeper. What did I just do? Let's go here. And I guess we could log some stuff in here. Getting closer to the problem. If we do it in here, I can probably take my code from main and just bring it here instead. Yep. Why don't we do that? Delete that from here. Go back to, can't remember where we were. Which file was it? Action, I guess. Right, okay. P. So if ID, this would be ID, and this would be type, and then action 0. So this would be index 0, right? Yes, it would. Index 0, string 2, and then my castable is castable pass in I guess if I want to have the same thing here, kind of have to do that. What? Come on. And this is index 0, right? Yes. Index 0. Okay. Let's try that. We should essentially get the same result, I would expect, to the same kind of logs. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I forgot to. But yeah, essentially my castable 1 1, and then castable 1 1, and then okay, 0 1, and then 0 1. So I just have to convert this here to a like that. Okay. If we take a look at this, 1 1, then it switches to 0, and yeah, there's no changes in my and this is, oh, this is odd though. There's definitely something weird going on here. It's definitely something weird. Because if we're looking at why are all these bits set to 1? That doesn't make sense at all. repeatable. We're starting off with repeatable. If I was to do this, would that help? That's essentially what I'm doing. Oh, I wonder if... Oh, this is annoying stuff. JavaScript with the whole... But hey, what I don't understand is I'm not even getting to... And my tests are all passing, so what the heck? There's obviously something weird going on. If I look at this, and paste it here as text, please. Well, actually, let's just paste it over this thing. We've got more bits at least now, so that makes, well, I don't know that. Right, so 0, 0, no, just 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1. All right, so let's just take a look at this here. So 6 is 32, isn't it? Yeah. So this is the 1 bit, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, right? 64 plus, that would be the 4 is 68. Is that right? 1, 2, 4, 8. All right, 64. 64 plus 8 is 72. 74. No, 70. 64 plus 8 is 72. Plus 4 is 76. Plus 2 is 78. Right, so the ID is good. We'll get there. 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1. And then a bunch of zeros. And then, how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then it's just a bunch of ones. So that makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. Bam, 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 bam. Why? Why would that be the case? This should all be 0. I would expect, anyways, all of this to be 0. Huh. Don't even know if it's the right amount of bits. I should have 25, 26 bits is what I'm using. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Okay, so it's displaying, right. It's displaying 32 bits. It's displaying 32 bits. But for some reason, everything after. Oh, this is so frustrating. Especially since my tests work. Like, how? What? I am passing in the same kind of inputs. Okay, well, let's add a test case. All right, let's do that. Let's get the actual inputs we're getting from this function here. And make a test case out of it. Let's see what gives. So we're going to need to log the ID, the type, the price, oh, I missed a delta, type, the delta, the price. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. How am I handling this here? Convert ingredients to 6-bit. That'll be interesting. Okay. I'm getting the actual bits. I'm getting the actual bits from this thing. I'm pretty sure that's how I do it in my tests as well, so I don't see why that would be a problem, but all right, okay, so let's just pass in what we're getting. That'll be interesting. Oh, I think I just, no, yes, no, maybe. What am I doing? No, delta, I'm just, not, delta, I'm shoving it somewhere else. I don't care, I'm shoving it here. So that shouldn't be a problem. I don't care about that. Don't want it. Type, price, tome index, tax count, castable, and repeatable. All right, show me what you got. The whole thing. Oh, crap. This needs to happen inside that if statement. Otherwise, too much stuff. Okay. So show me the ID, the type, the price. I guess I don't need this anymore. Logically, I already have that over there. Okay. Let's rebuild. All right. Let's see. Incredibly frustrating. Ah! Of course. Of course. We found it, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot that for tome index and tax count, you could get a negative number. And that's what's screwing everything up. Oh, my. So you know what? That's a great test case to add. Oh, what a pain. But we found it. We found it. So I need to sanitize those. Let's add a test case. Since we caught one of those edge cases. All right, and we're going to need to, let's just paste that here for now. Anyways, so my ID is 78, my type is 1, my price is 0, my convert ingredients to 6-bit, and that's just a 2, 0, 0, 0. Yep, okay. My tome, wait, the price is after. Got this wrong. Okay, get back there. So price is 0. Tome index is -1. Tax count is -1. Castable 0. Repeatable 0. And we are expecting. This is where I can delete this, I guess. We're expecting an array that will contain the first index of our array will have, so the last bit is the repeatable, which is set to 0. Oh, what just happened? Sometimes the IDE just has a mind of its own. Let's try that again. 0B. Oh, I see what's going on. There's like some sort of autocomplete thing. Right, so the last bit is 0. And then, which is a repeatable. Then after that, it's castable. Castable is also set to 0. Cool. And then we've got 4 bits that I'm using for, I think it's tax. And if I get -1, I don't want to have to store minus. So I'm just going to convert that to 0. Same thing with the tome index. If I get -1, I'm expecting you to store 0. Which for this one is just 3 bits, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 2, 3. Yeah, okay. Then after that, we have the score, which is 0 in this case, and that's 5 bits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we've got the price, which is 0, and that's 3 bits. And that leaves us with the ID, which is 78. No, I'm missing something here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3. And then the ID. So this is that. This is that. This is that. This is that. This is that here. This is that here. Okay, so that should be 1. And now we've got the ID. The ID is 78, which is 0. This is how many bits do I allow? 9 bits, I think. So let's start from the other. We need the 64-bit set. We need the 16. 64 plus 8. So not 16, not 32, 8. So that's 64 plus 8 is 72 plus 4 is 76 plus 2 and then 0. And I just need to pad this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think is right. Okay. And then the rest, well, let's see. I'm using no, I don't have any negative numbers, so that's great. They're all 0 here, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, like that, right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then this one is 2. So positive number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one will be A1. All right, I think I've got this right. Let's reformat this a little bit. All right, so something's not right. Screwed something up. If I line these up, am I missing a bit somewhere? 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Oh, they look good. Where did I go wrong? I didn't go wrong anywhere. It's because I need to change my implementation. Right, I forgot about that. That's the reason why we're here. So what I need to do is if we're gonna do that right here. If what are they? Tome index. If tome I can probably actually, let's just do it that way. Tome index equals, no, if tome index, yeah, right, tome index equals tome index is smaller or equal to 0. And just give me 0. Otherwise, yeah, tome index is cool. Same deal with text count, I guess. Text count is smaller or equal to 0. Then give me 0. Otherwise, keep text count. Space here. All right. Well, I'm glad that's fixed. That's what I was trying to do. Let's find out if it is fixed. Now, that's not going to make my bot any better, but it'll make it do stuff at least. There we go. Okay. So, type castable is 1, castable is 1. Then castable is 0. Yeah, so we're seeing all these bits here because that bit here is the castable one. Then once that's set to 0, it gets a lot shorter because everything else is 0, as you can see. Ah, good. So let's get rid of all that logging. Don't need all of that anymore. We're good here. Just go through everything and make sure I don't have any console. You know what? Let's use our friend here. That's cool. I want that. I want to keep that. I want to keep that. I want to keep that. I don't want to keep that. Where is that player? Player. All of this here I can get rid of. Good, maybe just add a space here, yeah. So that's good. And state, also don't want to keep that. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Crap, how do I revert this thing? Nope, that didn't do it. Let's go find out the mess I just did. Or did I? Guess not, I don't know. Okay, let's get rid of this. Don't need that anymore. And I guess that was part of that. Okay. Right. Do believe that nice and fresh and everything is in working order. Got rid of the unnecessary logging. Yep, and I'm left with the stuff I want. Good, and I'm now at least I'm doing stuff that I'm allowed to do. Everything's being represented correctly. I even brewed something, taking the lead and then getting my ass kicked. Yeah. Well, that's the bronze boss. Let's take someone that's a little closer to, let's see. Let's get like number 700. Because don't forget, I don't even take into account the Bronze League rules. I'm not learning, I'm not doing any of that stuff yet. Let's see if we can find an opponent that is also not doing that stuff. Okay. Yep, that guy's not learning, so. But he's still beating me, but just barely. What I'm interested to see, though, is how many simulations and how deep I can. Oh, this is better. Yeah. So before implementing the bit solution and for my ingredients, the delta basically, and for the actions, I would get closer to 12 to 14 nodes deep on the first turn with about 3,000 simulations. So for this play anyways, almost doubled what I used to get. So that's very encouraging. It's still not nearly good enough for a full Monte Carlo tree search to be effective. But I mean, it's getting there. Can I actually win one? I do believe I did. Yeah, cool. Let's try another one. So 1-1 so far with our friend Andy Wang. No crashes, no timeouts, and oof, yep, no good. No good this time around. I'm just looking to see, making sure that I don't have any crashes. Okay. How many did I get here? Yeah, 16, 6. Yeah, that's pretty good. Makes me want to keep going with getting more stuff into bits and bit arrays. Well, it's a lot of work and there's not a lot of time left. So I don't know. What strategy should I use at this point? I could, like, I really wanted to use the Monte Carlo tree search algorithm for this, but I would need to be able to crank out a lot more simulations for it to be doing its thing properly. So I could spend more time converting my stuff into bits and crank out more juice out of my code. Yeah, so the guy beats me most of the time, but at least it's not crashing. Oh, and also, yeah, that's one thing we could try. I've got it. There's a bunch of improvements I can do. Um, I guess. I wonder, should I just go? Should I still try to crank out more performance out of my code by switching stuff over to bits instead of objects? Or should I start changing the Monte Carlo tree search algorithm for it to kind of guide it? I'm not sure what's the best thing to do with the time I have left. And then there's the fact that I have to implement the rules, the new rules for learning and for taking into account the bonuses and the taxes and all that stuff. Ooh, what to do, what to do. Well, this guy beats me most of the time. 19 simulations, 3,800. Okay. So I only beat him once so far. And it was really close. Most of the time he beats me by a large. Okay, one thing we could try. One thing we could try right away. That is going to take 2 seconds and might improve things a little bit. Is give my bot more time. Now that I'm using bit arrays and bits at whatever, instead of just instantiating a bunch of objects all over the place, the garbage collector should be a little less, present. And I might be safe to increase the time that I'm giving my bot to think. So let's see if I crank this out to 45 and bring this guy up to, let's make it 950. See what happens. If we can squeeze more simulations out of the algorithm without timing out once in a while by going over, because the GC is being a little bee. Okay, doesn't look like we timed out. And we won. Let's take a look at how many simulations could we crank out on the first turn. Yeah, that's more than before. And the subsequent turns, oh yeah, that's a lot more than I was used to seeing. I mean, it's still like nothing compared to the amount of simulations I would need to really expect good performance, but it's better. It's much better. And we won. What What happened here? Snow Frog made it 2 deliveries back to back like that? Boom, boom. I want to see that again. So I've got a full thing. That's interesting. So clearly I know where I'm going with this. Well, actually, I'm saying clearly, but let's see what the algorithm is saying. It's not. All right, so it's saying at this point here, my no, that's a little too far. I want to get here. Okay. So right here, it's saying, all right, according to my search, I expect to brew. So at this point, what I'm displaying here is looking at the best option I've selected and then going down the tree for each of the best options. The next brew I encounter is in 9 turns, and it's this, which one? 0, -3, 0, -2. So 3 greens and 2. So this one. It's saying in 9 turns I will be brewing this. Okay. And then after that, it's just like completely lost. Changes its mind. It doesn't see itself brewing anything anytime soon. And then we keep going, and then it's back, and it's back. It's like, oh yeah. I'm back on track, but it's still going to take me 9 turns because I did some stupid things before that. Okay, cool. Because I got sidetracked. And then it actually brews it. That's hilarious. Right, because at that point, oh no, at that point it brews this one. That's weird. Might have to look into it, but in any case, so I see what it did. It went ahead and it brewed. Oh, is it because that one wasn't there before? And no, it was. Okay. So then I go, hey, you know what? I actually, okay, so I did brew that one. Interesting. Bam and bam. That puts me over. Okay, so that was not a bad choice. Interesting. All right, let's play another one. If we can get 7 out of 10 wins from this guy and not crash, I might just push. How many do I crank out here? Yeah, okay. I definitely get more simulations per turn now. So that's encouraging. Still lose though. But there's things we can do. Okay. Is that a timeout? Yep. Crap. See. That's what happens when the garbage collector decides that it wants to do its thing. Then we get screwed. Blip. So I gotta dial it back down. Dial it back down to. So first turn we were fine. So let's change that to 0. This is so frustrating though. It's like I gotta give away a big part of my compute time to the garbage collector. Let's try it again. Ugh, timeout again. Didn't I? Yeah. Oh man. So I guess back to get closer. maybe. It's the garbage collector. It's really not helping. Pretty sure the next contest I'm gonna switch over to either C# or just Rust. It's just like, because the kind of algorithms I like to do, they require optimization, and I think I've kind of outgrown JavaScript for these contests. So this guy beat me here. Let's take a look. There's not much difference now. Only added a few milliseconds. Don't expect it to make much difference. All right, so my choices are keep going with the refactoring to use bits, more bits, bits all over the place. And in the process, make my code a little more performant. The garbage collector is probably going to be less annoying. I'll be able to crank out more simulations. But I have a feeling that in the end, it still won't be enough to get anything meaningful out of the vanilla version of Monte Carlo's research. So I could just cut my losses and start changing the algorithm right now. I don't know. It's a hard one to. Let's see. What would I need to do if I wanted to? So action is now a bit array. Ingredients is also actually ingredients was great because it was small enough that I could just fit it into one number, and that's ideal because it's a primitive, right? And it's probably handle very efficiently by the engine V8. Now, player is a complex object. It's a class. What am I storing in player? I'm storing the player ID. That's just an internal thing for me. I'm storing the score, right? I'm storing the inventory, which actually I should change the type to what's the name of that thing? Ingredients. And which is just an alias for a number, but it communicates better what's going on. Spells is an array, and that's okay. So this is where the problem lies. Like if I wanted to store my player in bits, there's no way it would fit in just one single 32-bit. No, I have to deal with collections of different sizes, so I'd still have to wrap this somehow in a class. So I don't know how much, yeah, I don't know if it's worth it. And then forget about state then, because state is also storing the information from the players, the client orders, and I don't know that there's a way to do that efficiently. So I might just keep things the way they are. And yep. But anyways, it's lunchtime, so I'm gonna go have lunch and keep thinking about this and hopefully find a solution. See you tomorrow.